Welcome back, everybody. We are here to break down the Thursday Night Football Week 14 Dallas Cowboys versus Detroit Lions game. I think it's going to be an interesting one. We got a 54.5 total, so there should be some scoring. And I am your host, Tyler Weeman. But before we get into it, come join us at LineStar. 4.8 stars on over 7,100 ratings. People love our app. They love our website. Come try us out. You can get a free trial for 7 days if you've never tried us out before. One subscription gets you access to all the platforms we have. Now, let's get into the game here. So, 4.5 total. Detroit Lions are 3-point home favorites. And the big news here is Amon-Ra St. Brown is questionable. I think he's probably going to be out here. They're saying he's a game time decision. He hasn't practiced all week. With him still not practicing, I doubt he's going to go. He has done some work off on the side, so he hasn't been like totally immobile, but I would say it's probably a little more to the doubtful side of questionable for this one. So that's the big news. The Lions also have some offensive line issues with some guys questionable. So let's dive in. Now, starting off with the captains. So my favorite captains, Jahmyr Gibbs, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Jameis Williams, and David Montgomery. Now, if Amon-Ra goes, he needs to be considered as a captain as well, and that would hurt Jameis Williams a little bit. Also possibly Jahmyr Gibbs, because I think Gibbs is just going to be used in such a wild role if Amon-Ra is out. But let's dive into each one of these picks. Now, starting with Jahmyr Gibbs. So these last 3 games here, he had over 70% of the snaps. With that, he's had some giant games. This is another game that profiles one where he's going to get 70+% of the snaps. The one thing that's a little different here is I wouldn't be surprised if David Montgomery and Gibbs share the field together a little bit more if Amon-Ra is out. But what I think that leads is that Gibbs gets more receiving work. I would not be totally shocked if they had, Gibbs in just a crazy specialty role where he's used all over and they're just using him as a weapon. And the sky is really the limit is, when it comes to him, if he gets any additional work. He's already getting 15 rushes a game and 5.5 receptions. If that 21 touches turns into 25 with his efficiency, he could absolutely break the slate and be necessary at captain. So I obviously like him. Now, the Dallas Cowboys rushing defense has got substantially better. On the season, they're at 92.5 yards per game and 0.6 touchdowns. Over the last 4, 55.8 and 0 touchdowns for the running back. Now, Gibbs can still do it via, the pass, and so I'm still fine going here. Just understand, this Dallas Cowboys defense with Quinnen Williams, the rush D has got much, much better since this trade deadline. So Gibbs is interesting. Then let's talk about other Detroit Lions while we're on it. Jameis Williams. If Amon-Ra is out, my man had like a 30-something% target share after Amon-Ra went out. He is going to be used a ton. He has to be used all over just because he is going to be the absolutely primary option with no Laporta and no Amon-Ra. It's going to come down to him, and he is a freak athlete. He's a playmaker. He can do a ton with the ball in his hands, so they're going to design a bunch of stuff to get the ball in his hands. But he's also probably going to get all of the attention. Now, I like Jameis. I think he's in a great spot, Jameis, in here, and don't mind going to him. The sky is the limit, and this Dallas Cowboy defense has been hurt all year long on the back end. So I like Williams quite a bit, and the secondary hasn't improved much with the addition of Quinnen Williams. David Montgomery, the whole reason I put him here is I think that there is a chance he plays more snaps. Now, this rush D has been real tough over the last few weeks. So I don't love the opportunity, but I wanted to talk about it because with their limited offensive playmakers, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just trying to get their best talent on the field. And that means having David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both out there at the same point. If he gets more playing time, there's obviously big time potential. Now, on the Cowboys side, I don't want to pick on their rushing defense. I think Javonte Williams could have a decent game, but he is not a favorite captain option of mine. For Dallas Cowboys, I would be going to Pickens or Lamb. I like these two because the Detroit Lions secondary is absolutely decimated right now. They are beat up, and with that, I think Prescott's going to be able to pick them apart. Either Pickens or Lamb are in for a great, great day. On to the quarterbacks here. We got Dak Prescott and Jared Goff. Both are similar priced. Both have similar projections for our projection and the consensus. And they're both coming in high ownership, obviously. Now, I would prefer Dak Prescott in this spot just because he has all of his weapons where Jared Goff doesn't. But Jared Goff is at home, which definitely benefits him quite a bit. All in all, either quarterback for me is just based on what you are building with your lineup and your story. Both are playable. I don't want to fade either of them, and I'm going to have them mixed between my lineups. Getting on over to the running back spot. So we really do have three guys here we got to talk about: Gibbs, Montgomery, and Javonte. We've touched on all three already, so we don't have to go too more in depth on them. Just understand that it is a situation where it's game script dependent as far as which guys you want. Those three are the main ones, being Gibbs, Montgomery, and Williams. After that, you're looking at Malik Davis and Hunter Luepke. These guys just haven't really been used that much, and so it's very, very hard for me to go there. Now, Luepke's playing 20-ish%. Malik Davis is like 15%. So you really need one of them to break a big play to have a chance to be optimal. It's a very slim opportunity, but it could potentially hit. Sailors and Vaki aren't playing at all, so we don't need to consider them one bit. Getting on over to the wide receiver spot. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb in absolutely great spots, as well as Williams. Now, the real thing here is we got to talk about these other wide receivers. So, Isaac Tesla last week played 92% of the snaps. Amon-Ra St. Brown only played 6%. Tesla pretty much got everything else. He is expected to be the wide receiver too. We got a 4.5 star alert score. Dallas Cowboys are getting crushed by TDs. They're getting crushed by anything as far as wide receivers. Now, the issue with Tesla, he has 6 receptions on the year, and 3 of them have gone for touchdowns. That type of efficiency will not continue, and I would expect a lot of the field expects it to continue. Now, he played 92% of the snaps, but he still only was 2 for 35 last week. I don't mind some Tesla. I'm going to play some Tesla if there's no Amon-Ra St. Brown, but understand this projection of him is a very tricky one because he was out there a ton, didn't do much, but he got a touchdown. So you are pretty much relying on a touchdown to make it work, and I don't know if you can count on that game in, week out. Tom Kennedy, on the other hand, 4 receptions for 36 yards. He played 65%. He had the volume going his way. He is going to come lower owned than Tesla. Everybody's going to be all on Tesla. I think Tom Kennedy makes a lot more sense at a cheaper price because there's just more ways that he can score fantasy points and more opportunity for him thus to be optimal. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9,800. If he plays, you got to consider him, but he's probably a little bit injured, a little bit hurt if he does play, but he is so good, we got to consider him. On the Dallas Cowboy side, outside of CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, We got Flournoy, who's been running 38% of the routes. Tolbert's at 25, and Turpin is at 36. So between Turpin and Flournoy, both of these guys can hit a big play. They're playing plus 30% and can be used, but they are, they're a dart throw with big upside. Getting on to the tight end position. So Ross Dwelley last week ran 75% of the snaps, and it's a good spot for tight ends versus the Dallas Cowboys. Without Williams, Dwelley could be used a little bit more, without Amon-Ra St. Brown, he could be used a little bit more. He was targeted 3 times, so he got more targets than Tesla. And at 2,800, you could do worse than going to him. I would say there is decent touchdown opportunities. He was my touchdown call of the day today at plus 425, so I don't hate going that way. Fursker was out there a little bit, had 1 target, but I would put him underneath Dwelley as opportunities in this game. Ferguson obviously is usable at 7,400. My issue here is there's a couple. One, he is versus a very tough defense. This Detroit Lions front is solid, and with that, tight ends have had a hard time. So I don't love the opportunity to go there. The other aspect is that he just hasn't been used quite as much recently with both Pickens and Lamb healthy, and with the back end of the Lions secondary so beat up. I think just Pickens and Lamb are going to be able to pick apart this secondary so much that Ferguson is just, such a tertiary option where we don't have to go there. But he's going to get some targets. He's going to get some play. If he gets in the end zone, it's absolutely usable. Onto the Dallas Cowboys, or onto the DST, we got the Cowboys and Lions. Don't love either defense in this one with a 54-point total. But I would say at 3,600 and the limited offensive weapons for Detroit, the Cowboys, for me, are a little more interesting. And then Brandon Aubrey, Jake Bates, both have huge upside. Aubrey's averaging 10.1 points, whereas Bates is at 8.3. It's in a dome. Both kickers can definitely get it done. I like both of them. I can't hate on one. It is more just the story you're telling in your lineup and how you put that together. So that'll do it for us today, guys. I hope you guys have a great night. Hope you have a great Thursday night football. Good luck on week 14. Let's start it out with a good one. And please come join us at LineStar. 4.8 stars, 7,100 ratings. Let's go. We will speak to you soon. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our videos.